Did that work?
Okay, I pressed record exactly when you pressed record. I'm gonna clap.
It's gotta be bullshit, but okay.
Okay, I've clapped.
Oh, if I hold it to the microphone and you clap.
What?
Can you clap now? Okay. It's gonna work. Trust me.
I don't know how we're gonna sync this up.
Yeah, we are. Because I held my earpiece to the microphone and you clap, so I hear it on my footage, and then you can hear it on your footage too. And you can sync it. It's gonna work. Anyway.
Okay, we'll try. I don't know how that's gonna work.
It will, goddammit.
So, should we start with the introduction in 3, 2, 1, maybe?
Yeah, you can start with the introduction whenever you're ready. I can hear you, so.
Okay. Alrighty then. So, welcome to the first episode in this series of maybe a podcast. We don't actually know the name yet. I've got my good friend Lewis, who's on the other side of the planet right now. Yeah.
Pretty much.
But we wanted to do, well, a kind of talk show about some of our aspirations with life, talking about dreams, goals, stories, that sort of thing. And we've wanted to do this for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot.
So yeah, we're gonna give this a go. And I've also got a Q&A video on this channel, which I'm uploading the footage on. The SoundCloud is going to be different. We're going to have two different. We're going to have the SoundCloud podcast talk show thing, and then the YouTube video. So you can check that out on this channel, as you can see right now.
And like maybe if I can go ahead and talk a little bit more about like the reason we're trying out the podcast and like why we talked about it a lot before, is that like Joe and I have known each other for what, like 2 years, like 3 years even, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it must be 3 because we've had this tiny house I'm sitting in for like 3.
Really?
So.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a while,
I don't remember.
And like it's very like almost strange in how similar our lives have gone from that point. And like we talk about a lot on the phone, but we thought like maybe it's valuable for other people, or even for ourselves to share what we talk about with others. Like to give even more background, like Joe and I are both high school dropouts, right? And like we've
rub it in.
I mean, I'm proud of that. I don't know about you, but I'm really proud of that. But anyway, like it's just been interesting that how like the way we've been living our lives. So we're both 19. Are you 19? You are, right?
Now I'm 19. Yes.
Yeah. So we're both 19, and I personally think, and like I'm sure we get this both a lot, is that like we live our lives in a totally different way than a lot of other people. And I think
there's not a lot of people who live like us.
No, not at all. So like we want to talk about that a little more today, and like also the way we met and like what we've been up to for the last, I don't know, 3 years, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, it must be 2 or 3. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to begin really.
So let's just start on how we met. Do you remember that day I was in the Netherlands?
You were at Vadenoyen, I think. At Joanne's place. And I distinctly remember how fucking tall you were. And I shake your hand. Yeah, that was funny. And then you were playing that slideshow of your new tiny house build that you did, or was it a shed? I think it was a shed.
Yeah, it must have been a shed at that point. Yeah,
that was cool. Well, what did you think of me when you saw me?
Oh my god! Like I remember, like just to go back a little more is like the reason we've met is that I went to New York in 2014, I think it was, 2015, I don't know, 2014, and like I loved it. I loved USA. I loved New York, and I still do. Surprise, surprise. And
that's something we can agree with.
So, I started looking for people in the US where I could stay with, or that would like let me stay with them. And so I found Joe and their family, and like friends of Joe live in the Netherlands, and so like we met up there because I'm from Belgium, Joe is from England or the United Kingdom or whatever you want to call it these days.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Um, so yeah, we met up. We met up, and this is the day we're talking about. And then a few months later, I went to California together with Joe and his family and his Dutch friends. And
Yeah, that's how
yeah,
the connection kind of formed. Yeah.
that's how that came about.
And then we kind of hanged out after the, what was it, like 2 months that you were here?
I was there for 3 months. Yeah.
Right, okay, so it was three, sorry. And I don't know, we were just having fun. Like, like if you go to a camp and you find a friend that you get on well with, and you build a friendship, right? So it's kind of like that, isn't it?
Well, it went interesting because like so these 3 months we're talking about is now like 2.5 years ago, and I remember after that we weren't that close for some reason, but then like a few months later we got in touch again, right? Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
sort of. I don't exactly remember that. My mind has been very scrambled up in the last 3 years.
Yeah, me too.
Um, but
'Cause,
yeah, it was kind of funny.
mhm.
Um, I, you know what? I don't actually remember the exact moment that I called you back. But anyway, did we meet again when we were in Holland? No, Belgium.
I think you were on a cycling tour in Europe, and then you passed by, right? I think that was like the reconnect. I don't remember that well though.
Yeah,
But
because I went to your place. I went to your parents' place.
yeah, yeah, you stayed here, right? Yeah,
Is that really? That's when I came back? That's strange.
yeah, I think it
Feels
was.
like it's been longer, but um,
I think it was.
did you come? Well, you know what? I'm not sure on the details. It's a bit muddled up, but yeah, it was because I was doing this tour down to. It was funny. I was at your place deciding whether I wanted to go from Switzerland or Scotland. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and then I flipped a coin. Um, and then I picked Switzerland. So,
Mhm.
and then on the way back up, I went to Scotland. So I just did both.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. But this is pretty recent,
Um,
right? This is like a year ago, maybe something like that.
um, After that, I flew over to the US, and then
Mhm.
I went north to south of the
Mhm.
US by bike, and then I came back, and then I went. Ooh, I'm a bit muddled up on this. I don't know. Um, I didn't go to Scandinavia yet. I think I went down through France again
Mhm.
for the third time. Um, and then I decided to fly back to the US to do the cross country trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what I did.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, so that's how
Do
we
you
met, really.
do you remember a lot about like the 3 months in California?
Oh, when we were hanging out.
Yeah.
I remember that on your birthday we went out for a ride, and I was being a bit of an idiot, and I basically fell off the bike and then landed on both of my knees, and then had bloody knees on the whole way back to the house. That wasn't
Wait,
so fun.
was this the Black Butte adventure or was that something else?
No, that was to the Lake Shastina.
Oh right, yeah, yeah, I remember
Um,
now. Yeah,
every time I go by that road, I remember.
yeah.
It's like great, how embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's on the internet for everyone to hear and share about.
That's how that goes.
Um, yeah, that's what happens when you're sharing your life on the internet, I suppose.
Mhm.
And then yeah, that Black Butte adventure was funny. We went up this small mountain not far from here, and I suggested to Lewis, "Hey, do you want to walk from the house to there?" Which is about like I think it was 7.5 miles or something.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we left at like lunchtime or something, and then we got back at 9 p.m. or something. I forget. And we were walking in the dark on the road, and we had our speaker on, and dogs
Yeah,
howling at
yeah.
us.
And small detail, we climbed the fucking mountain. So we
Well,
walked over
yes, yeah.
there, And then the mountain, it's like, look it up on the internet, guys. It's like, it's not really a mountain, it's just a pile of shit. And like we climbed up.
Oh,
So
you've
there is a
offended her
path.
now.
Oh, sorry. But there's a path going up the mountain, but like we didn't find the entrance or something. And so we climbed up this steep, like loose rock kind of
Well, it wasn't
hill.
loose.
So
It was just massive. They were like boulders,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it kept
Um,
coming too, like there was no ending to it.
yeah, because from a distance it looked like it was loose rock, but when you actually
Hmm.
stood up next to the on the mountain, it was rather large. They were like the size
Mm.
of these things in riverbanks or on the harbor where they
Right.
split the waters. You know what I mean? With those giant rocks, kind
Yeah,
of
like
like that
gold
size,
breakers or whatever. Yeah.
something like
Mhm.
that. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's to me it wasn't so bad. But for you it was your first time hiking up there, right? In fact,
Yep.
your first hike up a mountain actually, wasn't it?
Could be. Yeah, could be.
And then the second time we went up together with the family, the Dutch family here, up Mount Eddy, which is just literally behind this house, um, or not where you are anyway. And that was then the second time, and that's about 2,700 meters. That's a good height. Um,
I remember that hike because you guys like I had a sleeping bag. You remember that sleeping bag? It was like made for plus 20 degrees Celsius. And we were on this mountain. It was like minus something. I don't know. It was really cold at night. And I pretty much almost froze to death.
oh God, really? I didn't know you got that cold. I didn't
Yeah,
know
man.
that.
I remember Jabe. He's the Dutch guy. I remember him telling a story about like taking rocks from the campfire and putting it in a sleeping bag, and that's what I did. That's what I did at night. I wouldn't have survived. I don't know. Like I'm exaggerating here, but like I was really happy I had those rocks. It was
I don't
so
remember
cold.
you doing this at all. Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was so bad.
The only thing I remember is that we, um, oh crap, we can't mention it. So maybe we should maybe branch onto the our aspirations, our
Mhm.
goals in life.
Mhm.
Um, I think should I let you start on that?
Whew. Okay.
You don't want me to do it? I don't mind.
Yeah, if you don't mind, then you can start.
Um, well, it's funny. I've had a big change of events lately, which has been kind of screwing up my dreams and goals at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, not sure exactly what's going to happen. Um, there was this. If you want a link to the video, I won't explain it right now because it's just something I'm trying to look ahead of.
Yeah.
There was an accident in Canada. There was a friend of mine with me, and I'll leave it at that. You can leave. There's a link, iCard or whatever, or I'll leave a link in the description that you can have a
Mhm.
look. And that kind of shook up everything right now. Um, I kind of, because of all the bike touring, which was kind of my goal and aspiration was to keep doing that.
Mhm.
You know, you then realize that when you're riding on a road, that these cars are just so dangerous, and people don't realize it, honestly. Um, and you know, I have every legal right to be on the road with a bike. In fact, more so than a car, because a car actually needs a license plate, and I don't.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just this beautiful, free, fit way to get around, and I love it. And I just wish that in the U.S. that they had way more infrastructure for it. Even on bigger sections where you need to use a bus, for example, and you got to put your bike on a bus or something.
Mhm.
Because I think this country could be much more well developed for cycling, but it's just not. It's just been completely, I would say, ruined by the car.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you've got beautiful landscape here, really awesome people, and then you've got these cars everywhere. I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
just
those cars are the reason that road is there, though. So
Yes and
That's
no, because back in the day when you use horse and carriage and such, you have original dirt roads, right?
mm-hmm,
And bikes are fine on dirt roads. I don't mind riding on a dirt road.
mm-hmm,
Um, and bike paths are predominantly either, it can be dirt, it can be sand, it can be asphalt. Um, yeah, it's just, to me, it's a more eco-friendly, sustainable, cheaper way to get around.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it's fun. I think it's so great to get around. You can, if you're lazy, grab an electric bike. It's far more efficient and nicer to use than a car.
Yeah, I did that for a
Um,
while.
if the weather's bad, hop on the train. Like in Europe, everything's way more sorted out for this sort of thing, and here
Mm-hmm.
it just needs that infrastructure. If you just change things here and there, like they've done in Holland, um, this country could be amazing for it.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, touring. So that's kind of what this channel was about and is still about. I have so much footage from Scandinavia and the Arctic I still need to post. Some mini trips in California and Spain. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to be able to have this channel a bit more um, dynamic, is maybe the word for it, so that I can post more of these stories, like simple things like I'm just sitting here and I got you on the phone and I'm just chatting with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be always cycling. I find that the I don't want to mix up the content so much, but just so that I can uh, just be flexible, so that I can post maybe a travel adventure to another country, and it doesn't have
Right.
to always be by bike.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But what would you say is like, do you have a long-term goal or vision you're working towards, or are you are you more like me and you're like, I'm in this situation right now and I want to be there and this is the action I'm gonna take, or like, how would you describe the situation you're in now? Like, what's the main thing you're working on, and like, are you working towards a general goal, or
um,
is it more like taking action on what's happening and then going from there? Does that make any sense?
it's a bit of both, really.
Mm.
I find that I'm trying to, like, I've been thinking more about cycling safety lately,
Mm-hmm.
and making people more aware of that.
Yeah.
Um, like, I don't have it in the shop, but like this high visibility jacket thing I was wearing. But um, and the goal is more like me discovering my life. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know the goal, to be entirely honest. I
Mm-hmm.
like doing things which are meaningful, impactful for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and they have just an epic sense to them. Um, that's why I like listen to music while I would be running, while I would be hiking or chilling out, cycling. It doesn't matter, because I
Mm-hmm.
find that for me, aspects of music can really a lot of these film score music I kind of listen to,
Mm-hmm.
a genre called chill step, which some people might know. It's a very melodic kind of music, and it's very dramatic, so you really kind of feel more alive and there, and you just, yeah, the moment is more precious, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and then when I listen
Yeah.
back to that sound or music, I remember it way more clearly.
Yeah.
A lot of the
That's
music I listen to
something.
reminds me of where I was in Texas or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I have this too. Like, I connect songs with memories, right? And like every time I'm doing something new, I try and find a new song, and it doesn't really matter what that song is, but it's just so that like when I listen back to that song, I remember that moment, right? Um,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah,
that's so valuable. It's interesting that you do that too.
yeah. I mean, I suppose a lot of people do that, but I can't really. I personally can't stand these kind of like parties and nightclub events.
Mm-hmm.
I just find them so, uh, I don't know. like a lot of the people tell me that the music I listen to sounds like club music or party music. It reminds them partying. It reminds them of them having a good time. Personally, I wouldn't find myself having a good time, but I'm not trying to judge the experiences that other people are having. If you're doing it and you're having a great time, that's great. What I'm trying to say is that I don't see it the same way. When I listen to that kind of music, I love listening to it like while running or cycling, because it gives me energy. It gives me this kind of like almost a natural drug without needing the drugs, you know? I think it's great stimulation for your brain.
Yeah, I talked about this the same thing in my last video actually, that like I see a lot of people of our age going out in the weekends and like going to nightclubs and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's fine. Like it's not about judgment or being better or worse, or it's just like, for me, every action I take needs to lead me closer to where I want to be, you know? And if I don't see that connection, then I'm just not going to do it, whatever it is. And that's also the reason why I quit school and like even later university, and I'm like, why I had my own company and then quit that. It's because like I feel this drive that there are other things that could help me better with achieving what I want to do, right?
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. We've taken, both of us have taken different paths to achieve these sort of things, these goals that we have or aspirations. But for some reason we're on a similar path. I don't know how else to say it really. It's like we've got different battleships out in the ocean, but we're heading the same direction. It's weird. You know what I mean? We go to different places along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I see with like a lot of people I know from my age. It's like mainly my cousins actually. They're 9 months younger than me, which isn't that big of a difference. And I really feel that we have the same, I'm not going to call it problems, but challenges in life, right? Like we ask ourselves the same questions, but we fill those questions or we answer those questions in a totally different way. Like we do totally different things that we think are better to answer that. And but I feel like for us, I don't really know how to describe it, but somehow we believe in the same things, and like our mind works in the same way, but we're just on a different topic. I don't know. Yeah.
So anyway, that is it for episode 1 of our podcast. We still don't know, or talk show, we still don't know the name yet. Leave suggestions down in the comments below, or message us on our Facebook or whatever. And we'll have it on a download for SoundCloud on Lewis's account, and on my channel it'll be the video and the audio version. And yeah, I think that's a good start for episode 1 about who we are, how we met, and our dreams and aspirations, pretty much. Yeah.
And also, if you guys have any questions for us, we would love to know, so that we can incorporate them in our next episode. And
you can totally message us on Facebook and such. Ask us anything. And for my viewers, it doesn't have to be only cycling. You can ask me about, like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I mean, that's a strange question, but like, I don't know the answer to that, honestly. But my point is that's a bit better. So something like that. You know, it doesn't have to only be that, but you can still ask me tons of cycling stuff. I still love that stuff. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think of the logo, by the way, on my channel. It's got this new infinity kind of look. I'm very curious to see what you think. I think it looks really nice. And it's kind of, it's going to be able to, you know, it's like a name, you know, for myself. It's a symbol, the One Good Road symbol. Anyway, that's it. Like, share, download, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, and we'll see you next one. Okay. Ciao.